question paper of September 2019, and this is a question paper from the Eastern Cape province. So we are going to start on the instructions and information. So in terms of our instructions and information, the first instruction that reads this question paper consists of five sections, and all sections in section A, B, C, D, and E are compulsory. So it means we will have to answer all the questions that is in this question paper. So moving on to the first part of the question paper, it is only about the choice section, whereby it is the multiple choice section is going to start on the first question that we have, which is 1.1.1. A flight from Johannesburg, South Africa to New York, USA is classified as a dash flight. So the correct response that we have is transatlantic. Number two, an example of an above the line advertising technique. So the correct response that we have is poster. A symbol for local currency used in France. So I will try to locate what do we have in terms of the responses that we have. So France uses the euro, and the sign that we have of the euro, we have it at A. And number four, this famous East African attraction is located in. So you'd see that the park that we are given is located in Tanzania. Moving on to the next part, which is now number five. On a domestic flight, a dash is most likely to be confiscated from a passenger in the security control point. According to the responses that we are given, the question is asking for something that can be confiscated, which means it's not allowed. So you see that according to what we have, a pair of nail scissors is the one that is inappropriate according to the response that we have. So we have A as our response. So we move on to the next question, which is number six. The budget for this type of tour includes transport, accommodation, and activities. So we have D as the correct response. This South African marketing campaign encourages day tourism. So we are given nothing more than a fun, short left. So it indicates domestic tourism. It indicates domestic tourism, which is our C. The removal number eight, a machine used at airports to verify the identity of passengers. So we have a C, which is a biometric scanner, a method used by a tourism business to determine the level of customer satisfaction. We have C, which is the surveys. Going to number 10, an amount added to the bill of a customer who is renting a vehicle that is paid on to TOMSA to assist with marketing South Africa as a destination. So according to our responses that we are given, the correct response that we have is B, which is tourism levy. Number 11, Micros Fidelio. Opera is an example of A or N. It is an electronic booking system. We move on to the next question. Advice to a first-time passenger on a luxury cruise liner is book a mid-ship cabin if you tend to suffer from motion sickness. So we have D is the correct one. And we move on to the next one, number 13. A government initiative aimed at encouraging young South Africans to become entrepreneurs in tourism. So we have A, as the correct response. Number 14, the food item that is not kosher. According to responses that we have on number 14, correct response that we have is a shellfish. On number 15, tourists can access the stone town of Zanzibar by using this transport. We have the air of water. Number 16, Chobe National Park is located in in Botswana. The airline is known as South Africa's national carrier. So check according to what we have. So the correct response is D, the SAA, South African Airways. Moving on, number 18, the Victoria Falls is a waterfall on the Dutch River on the border between Zambia and Zimbabwe. It is the Zambezi River. A limitation when seated in the emergency seat on an aircraft. C, a female passenger may not put her handbag on the floor of the aircraft under her seat. Number 20, tourists visiting paleontological heritage sites will be able to view fossils. We have A. Then we go to 1.2. South African train known to be one of the most luxurious trains in the world. So we have got column B, where we have to choose from. So going down, you see that we have F as the correct one. So we are saying the rovers are real in terms of 1.2.1. In 1.2.2, a below the line marketing tool. So we have G, in-store discount. G, which is in-store discount. Then we've got 1.2.3, a career opportunity in the hospitality sector. We have got the concierge. So we have E. 1.2.4, and above the line marketing tool. It's a video walk. So we have A. Includes days, times, accommodation, modes of transport, and places to be visited for a tour. We have itinerary, we have B. So this is what we have on this section. And of course, we need to move on to the next part, which is now 1.3. Choose the correct word from those given in brackets. So on the first part, in SAA flight from Ora Tambo International Airport, Johannesburg to Charles de Gaulle Airport, Paris will make use of a dashboard aircraft. So the correct response that we have is white. So 1.3.2, newspapers or pamphlets are classified as conventional media tools. So newspapers is correct response. So what is the next one? AXA or Retosa aims to increase inbound tourism to South Africa. So it is Retosa. Then 1.3.4, a cabin or a suite is the most luxurious option for accommodation on a luxury cruise liner. So we have a suite. 1.3.5, the correct response that we have is storytelling. Storytelling forms part of the folklore of different cultures in South Africa. So that's what we have on 1.3. Then 1.4, you choose a destination from the list given that matches the description below. So these are the options for destinations. And then in terms of descriptions, the first one, a World Heritage Site in Zimbabwe that contains massive granite boulders. So we'd see that the correct response is Matopo Hills. So here, that's where we've got 1.4.1, Matopo Hills. Then a popular tourist destination known for its beaches, water activities, and nightlife is the Great Bay. So this is our 1.4.2. Then an area filled with fresh water that is located between Malawi, Mozambique, and Tanzania is the Lake Nyasa, is our 1.4.3. Then a protected area that is home to the largest herds of game in Eswatini is the Hale Royal National Park, which is this one that we have here, which is 1.4.4. And on the next one, a World Heritage Site with one of the highest concentration of sand rock art in the world. It is the Tondilo Hills, which we are having here, which is now 1.4.5. So this is the last question on 1.4.5. Of course, we have the next part whereby saying study the images and scenarios below and match this each scenario with the most suitable type of bus transport. So we are given different pictures. So on the pictures that we are given, you now go to the first one, which says Hans and Ganda are German backpackers who want to travel from Cape Town to Durban, spending a few days at each destination that they find attractive. So which one matches the description that we have according to the pictures that we have? So instead 1.5.1, we have D is the most appropriate. So we have D. And on the second one, Miss and Miss Naidu want to travel from Bloemfontein to Port Elizabeth to attend a family wedding. So we have C as the most appropriate. Jos and Fernando from Brazil are spending time in Soweto and want to experience the township vibe while on the township tour. So E is the most appropriate. So we have E on that part. Then Zanele and Tembela from East London are visiting Cape Town and want to enjoy a sightseeing tour that will take them to some of the major attractions in and around the city. So 1.5.4, we again check which one is the most appropriate. See that we have got A is the most appropriate. Then 1.5.5, two Eastern Province rugby teams are traveling to Johannesburg to take part in the annual interprovincial rugby tournament. So we check again. So the most appropriate that we have is B. So we have B as the most appropriate. So that's what we have for that part. That is our section A. So there we'll move on to the next section, which is our section B. So we're going to look at question 2. So our question 2 reads start the extract and answer the questions. So we're given an extract vendor attitude sessions from 23,010 rands. So basically this is the information that we have. So you just need to go through information that we are given. So first question reads, the above tour is an example of a scheduled tour. Motivate this statement. So you have to show us why it is a scheduled tour. But if you go to the information given, you would see that We have got designated period as stated. So this shows that it's a scheduled tour. And also there are exclusions that are included. So that is a scheduled tour. And also we've got a reference that is given. So those are some of the areas that we can identify. So we are saying the tour is for a fixed period, which is 18 April 2019 to 25 April 2019. And also there's a list of exclusions, inclusions and exclusions for the tour. Then the tour is a tour code. So those are the points that we can include in terms of that. Move on to the next question. The next question reads, identify the trip motivator for the above tour. What is the trip motivator? Obviously, this trip is for beach and island holiday. So, of course, it is a leisure. The motivator is leisure. So, we have leisure is our answer on that part. So, these are some of the options that you can include: leisure, romance, or water-based activities. So, any point can be correct. And move on to the next one. The just two activities that a person booking the above holiday can take part in while in Seychelles. So activities are going to be based on the experience of beach and island holiday. So from there you can see that uh, in the beach there will be walking on the beach can be an activity that can be taken on the beach. We can also include fishing. So those are some of the activities that we can include. So we have walking on the beach, swimming, sun tanning, snorkeling, fishing, and other that we can also include. So this is what we have on question 2. So from there, we move on to our question 3. So in terms of our question 3, it reads standard information given and answer the questions. So we are given Mr. Smith is going on a business trip to London. He has 25,500 rands spending money to exchange for his trip prior to this departure. So in terms of that, the first question reads, identify the foreign currencies that Mr. Smith will exchange his rand for. So, but if you come here, you see that this person is traveling to London. So the currency that is used in London is the British pound. So we have British pound is our response. And then we move on to the next question. So question 3.2 reads, name the facility where Mr. Smith is processing this transaction. So the transaction is for exchanging the foreign currency. So obviously, this is the foreign exchange bureau, or we can also say it can also be done in the commercial bank. So those are the responses that you are supposed to give is for 3.2. So we have foreign exchange bureau, and also optionally you can say a commercial bank. So moving on to the next question. I did explain how the money that Mr. Smith is exchanging for his trip can benefit the local economy of London. So you see that obviously this is going to be an exchange of foreign currency. So the community can earn an income from tourism by selling products, and also we can include the issue of services to tourists. So basically, those are some of the points that we can include. As we are saying, a community can earn an income from tourism by selling products and services to tourists. And then also we have got a job, which is brackets direct employment and indirect employment will be created, setting the multiplier effect into a motion. And also we have a third point that we can also include, that is also correct. Then move on to the next part, which requires us to calculate using the bank selling rate and the amount of foreign currency that Mr. Smith will receive when he exchanges his spending money before his departure. And then you have to round off to 2 decimal places. Show us steps of your calculation. So we have to refer back to the information that we are given. So the information given, we see that Mr. Smith has 25,500 rands, which needs to be converted to pounds. So obviously, now the question is clearly indicating that you have to use the the selling rate as indicated here using the bank selling rate. So if you come here, the bank selling rate of the British pound that we are given there is 18.80. So it means we are going to divide our 25,500 rands divided by 18.80. So that's how we are going to calculate it. So in other words, we are saying 5,500 we divide by 18.80. So if you divide like that, you see that your answer is going to be 1,356 pounds 0.38. So basically, this is going to be your calculation. So we go to the next part, which is going to be our 3.5. Upon his return, Mr. Smith has 15 pounds banknotes left over. Calculate using the bank buying rate the amount of rand that he will receive when he exchanges 15 rand. So when you are now exchanging pounds to rands, you are going to say 15 pounds times the buying rate, which is 18.09. So basically, on that part now, we are now saying 15 pounds, and then we multiply by the buying rate, which is 18.09, and you are going to get your answer is 271 rands 30%. So basically, that is what we have on that part, and this is the last part that we have in terms of our question 3. And of course, we need to move on to the next question, which is going to be our question 4. Question 4 is on tourism attractions. So question 4 is refer to the map of SADC countries and the linked images or names of tourism attractions below and answer questions. So you are given images that we have of A, B, C. We also have our D and E. So in terms of the first question that we have reads, identify the tourism attractions labeled A, C, and D. So of course we have A, C, and D. So we're going to look at D. We have also A and C to identify. So in terms of our A, we can try to zoom it out, see what we have. So you see that this, we are seeing animals in that image A. So obviously that one, it indicates the Serengeti National Park. So it is the Serengeti National Park. Then we go to C, we are seeing a waterfall that is there. So this is the Camarel Falls. Camarel Falls is our C, and then we go to D. To D, we are seeing a river in the desert that we are seeing there, which represent the Namibia Desert. So these are the representations that we have in terms of our A, our C, and our D. Then we move on to the next part now, which is now 4.2. Start the numbered images below. So of course, we've got 4.2.1, we have got 4.2.2. So we have to study the images, and then we identify the image that best represents the SADC tourist attraction. Royal use of Abo Himanga, labeled B on the map. So we try to see what do we have in terms of the labeled B. So the B that we have is here is presented as royal use of Abomianga. Then in terms of our question says identify the image that represent the standard tourist attractions royal use of Abomianga. So of course, according to the image that we have, the one that is part of royal use of Abomianga is 4.2.1. So we have 4.2.1. Then moving on to the next question, give one reason why the royal use of Abomianga is considered to be a top tourist attraction on the SADC region. So you'd see that the reasons why is that it consists of a royal city, royal burial sites, and a collection of sacred places. And also it is the most significant symbol of the cultural identity of the people of Madagascar. We have got further points that are also correct that we can include. Then moving on to the next question, it reads, study tourist activities below. we are having a treetop canopy atoll, and then we've got mounted a gorilla safari. So in the pictures that are also given, I believe that identify the must-do tourist activity in the Virunga National Park, labeled E on the map. So we have to refer back to our E, and you see that we have our E as indicated as the Virunga National Park, and we see where it is on the map. And then the question says, identify the must-do tourist activity in the Virunga National Park, labeled E on the map. So you would see that this is mounted gorilla safari. Mounted gorilla safari is indicated on the second picture that we are having here. And then in terms of the next question, suggests one benefit that the tourist activity selected in question 4.3.1 we have for the conservation efforts of the Virunga National Park. So in particular, according to that, it is the Virunga National Park's main source of income to fund the conservation efforts to ensure the protection and survival of the critically endangered mountain gorillas. Then moving on to the next part, it reads, explain how the remote location labeled D on the map got its name. So the one that is labeled D is this one, which is the Namibi Desert. So we refer to where it got its name. Remember, it's the Namibi Desert is called the Skeleton Coast. The Skeleton Coast. So why it is called the Skeleton Coast? We have the reasons is it got its name from the shipwrecks and whale skeletons that litter its shores. So that's the reason. Then we go to the next one. List two sightseeing opportunities that a visitor to the attraction labeled D could encounter. So we have D. What, according to our question, it says at least two sightseeing opportunities. Of course, in terms of the sightings opportunities, of course, this is a desert, so we are going to have desert walks. We are also have to have sandboarding as part of that. So we have that also listed in our other section, as we have these points as optional points that we can include. So basically, that's the last part that we have in terms of our question 4. And of course, we need to move on to the next question, which is our question 5. Moving on to our question 5. Our question 5 reads, study the images depicted in the Xhosa cultural uniqueness of the Eastern Cape and answer the questions. So this is information given the pictures that we have. And beneath that, it reads, name two main ingredients used to make the Xhosa dish in the image labeled C. So we try to see what we have on C. On C, of course, we have an image as indicated here. And we are saying, according to our question says, name two ingredients used to make that dish. And see that we have got beans inside, and also we have got semp inside. So beans and semp is indicated in the other section, as we are saying, semp, and also we have beans. So moving on to the next part of our question. It reads, identify the person in the Xhosa culture that would utilize the articles in the image labeled B. The person in the Xhosa culture that would utilize the articles in the image labeled B. So if we go to B, so you'd say that we have got B and on this part. So this is our B. And we'll see that, of course, this is a traditional healer or a sangoma, or you can call that person a herbalist. So that is the person that utilizes that. So we come here, we see that these are exactly the options that we are given as our answers, as we are saying. We have a traditional healer, we have a sangoma, or we call that person a herbalist. So that's what we have. And moving on to the next part of our question. Explain the link in traditional communities between the images labeled A and D. What is the link between A and D? We have A, and on this part, so this is our A, and of course, We check in terms of our D. We are seeing a cow on our D. So what is the link that is there? So we know that the cattle are part of the lobola process. So that's the main connection that is there. So we are saying cattle form part of the custom of lobola, where the man commands the family of his fiancé for a hand in marriage by giving cattle. So this is the explanation that we have concerning that. Then move on to the next part. Discuss how the cultural uniqueness of the Xhosa people could influence international tourists to visit South Africa. So we are able to come up with different responses. Obviously, it will make at some point it will make tourists curious about the customs and traditions of the Xhosa people. So this is one of the responses that we can include. So we are saying the different aspects of the Xhosa culture will offer an original tourism experience. It will make tourists curious about how the Xhosa people live, and it will make tourists curious about the customs and traditions of the Xhosa people. So this is what we have on that part. Then move on to the next one, which is now our question 5.2. Start the information and answer the questions. So you're given the information that we have that you need to read through. So going down, we are also given a picture that we have. So 5.2.1 reads, I refer to the notification above and identify the legal body that issued the notification. So we check in terms of the notification, which is notification of the intention to declare a number of sites within the BOCAP, Cape Town as national heritage sites in terms of Section 27 of the National Heritage Resources Act number 25 of 1999. So it started. This is the South African Heritage Resources Agency, is the one that is responsible for the notification. Is this and the question reads, identify the legal body that issued the notification. So we are saying it is the South African Heritage Resource Agency, which is the SAHRA as an abbreviation. So in terms of the next part, it says explain how the notification is linked to one of the functions of the legal body identified in question 5.2.1. So how is notification linked to one of the functions? So we are saying SAHRA is tasked with the protection of South Africa's cultural heritage, and therefore the notification is proof that it is carrying out this function. So that's what we have with that part. Then 5.2.2, after the 20 BOCAP sites are declared national heritage sites, strict conditions will apply in order to protect them. Motivate this answer. So in terms of the motivation 5.2.2, we have it as articulated in our answer section on this part. Then we move on to 5.2.3. Give one reason why the buildings in the BOCAP should become part of the national estate. So the response is to ensure that these sites are preserved for future generations, or the protection of these sites will contribute to a greater understanding of the history. So this is the response that we have on 5.2.3. Then we move from there, we move on to the next question, which is going to be our question 6. So our question 6 reads, study the marketing technique, example below and answer the questions. So we have a picture that we are given, and then beneath that it is identify the following type of promotional techniques are used by Penica travel agents in the image in the image that we are given. So in the first part A is above the line, and B we have got below the line. So we check according to the picture that we are given. For the above the line, we have got the billboards, and then below the line, it is a sales promotion. And we move on to the next part, which reads, give one reason why each type of promotional technique identified in question 6.1.1a and 6.1.1b are effective marketing strategies for Penica travel agents. So we'll start to look at the billboards, and then we look at the sales promotion. So we are saying under billboards, it can reach a wide range of people who drive or walk past the billboard, and then the size of billboards allows for spectacular visuals that can draw the attention of potential customers. And if you look at the sales promotion, it can increase sales by attracting new and existing customers. It would create an awareness of their product or offer. So that's what we have on that part. Then 6.1.3, explain why Penica travel agents would have included internet and telephone costs in the marketing budget for their above the line marketing campaign. So to obviously to communicate with potential customers, and also to communicate with customers via online applications can also be the responses that you can give. So in terms of 6.9.3, we have these as our points, as we have to make phone calls and also to communicate with potential customers who are interested in the offer and customers that have booked. And lastly, to communicate with customers via online applications such as Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. So those are the optional points that we can include. And this is the last part that we have in terms of our question 6. Question 7, read this case study and information given carefully and answer questions that follow. So this is the information that you are given that you need to read through. 27.1, the tour group will depart from Port Elizabeth Station en route to Johannesburg Station on Friday, 6 December at 11:00, 100 hours on board the Social Loza Mail. They arrive on time of approximately 09:20 on the following day. The learners will be accommodated in 2 compartments, and the teacher will sleep in a car. So we're given a picture that we have that the first question is explain the difference between a compartment and a car. So you are going to see that the difference between the two is that a compartment is a partitioned section or a separate room within a larger enclosed area of a train, and then a coupe is a compartment where 2 passengers are accommodated. So this is where we have the difference between the two. So we move on to the next part, which reads, advise the tour group about the availability of food and refreshments on board the train. So what advice can you give? So in that sense, we are saying food refreshments can be bought and enjoyed in the dining car, and then snacks and beverages can be purchased from the trolley that goes from carriage to carriage. So this is the response that you can give within the context of that. So this is what we have with the information that you are given in the question. So we go to the next part. Recommend what options are available regarding bedding, blankets, and pillows from the tour on the board and train. So this is our 7.1.3. The next question is that the tour group can take their own bedding with them on the train and can hire bedding at an additional cost. This is called a bedding ticket. So we move on to the next part, which reads 7.1.4. Miss Solly would prefer to have a private bathroom for the duration of the trip. Explain what bathroom facilities are available on the board. So we are saying communal bathroom with a shower, toilet, and wash hand basin are found on each of the carriages on the train. So that is what we have on that part. So we move on to the next part, which is now 7.2. While in Johannesburg, the tour group will hire a 10-seater bus from Pesca rental for the 4 days that they will spend in Gauteng. The details of the rental agreement are given below. So these are the details of the agreement that we are given. Then in terms of the first question, it reads, explain the following concept to Mrs. Stolle: contract fee, additional driver surcharge. So you'd see that contract fee is an amount that covers the cost of the administration fee of the rental that is added to the rental fee of the vehicle. Then look at the additional driver surcharge. Surcharge is if the renter of the vehicle wants another licensed driver to drive the vehicle, during the rental period, he or she must register that driver at an additional cost. So those are the descriptions that we have within that context. Then we go to 7.2.2, explain the effect on the premium and excess payment for the rental agreement should be solely decide to select CDW and TLW insurance and thereafter accidentally reverse it into a parked car. So this is the information that we are going to derive those explanations. So moving on that part, we are going to see that our response is that if this story selects CDW and TLW insurance, the premium for the renter will be lower, but the excess payment will be higher than the 7,000 rands indicated on the rental agreement. So basically, this is the explanation that we have. Then we go to the next part. Calculate the total cost of the rental should the tour group require the following. We have got delivered to the Johannesburg train station on Saturday, 7 December, a trailer and GPS. They travel 500 kilometers during the 3 days of their travel period. Include all costs and show all steps in your calculations. So basically, these are the calculations that you are going to derive from the information that you are given on this part. So that's we'll see that these are the calculations that you're supposed to come up with for 7.2.3. So moving on to the next part of our question, which is going to be our 7.3. Upon completion of their tour in Gauteng, the tour group will travel from their place of accommodation in Randburg to OR Tambo International Airport aboard the Gautrain. Below are some concerns that members of the group have about the Gautrain trip. Respond to each of their concerns in full. So this is what we have in terms of 7.3.1 to 7.3.4. So 7.3.1 is saying the main requirement for travel on the Gautrain. The main requirement for travel on the Gautrain. So the concern on 7.3.1 is that a person can only travel on the Gautrain if they have a gold card. So that's the concern that is there. So on 7.3.2, getting access to the platform to wait for the train. So you see that access to the platform is gained by scanning the gold card at the entrance. At the entrance to the platform. So this is typically how we are going to explain it. As we are saying, access to the platform is gained by scanning the gold card in entrance to the platform, which will allow the automatic access control gate to open. The passenger can then get it onto the platform. So that is what we have on that part. Then in terms of 7.3.3, safety while on the platform waiting for the council. So we see that there we have more than 650 CCTV cameras which are in place in every rail car, at stations, and on platforms to ensure higher security. So this is what we have on 7.3.3. So with that, we have got an explanation again that is on that. So these are the responses that we have in terms of 7.3.3. So moving on to 7.3.4. It is identifying which train to board. Identifying which train to board. So we are saying the destination and departure times of the trains are indicated on the display boards on the platform, and then information is displayed using bright yellow LED lights on the front of the train, giving relevant information about the destination of the train. And also a public address system is available to make announcements. So these are the responses from 7.3.4. So moving on to the next part, which is 7.3.5, luggage storage facilities on board the train. So 7.3.5, the response is on the airport service, the two forward rail cars consist of special areas for the storage of baggage, and the baggage areas are located near the doors. So that's our response on that part. So in terms of 7.4 now, on the final leg of the tour, the group will fly from OR Tambo International Airport, Johannesburg, to Port Elizabeth. Their flight details are given below. So we have the flight details to give. And then the first question is, give the time that the tour group must check in at OR Tambo International Airport to their departure. So you would see that we have departure is 7:30. 7:30, but then if you check according to the information given, you have to be there for check-in, of which check-in is going to be an hour earlier. So it means we are going to subtract 1 hour from 7:30 to get your 6:30. So 6:30 will be the the time that the tour group must check in. So that's how we are going to find our check-in time. So we go to the next part, explain one method that the tour group can use to check in for their flight. So what method can they use to check in? They can use online check-in, or they can use check-in on counters. And these are the alternative methods that can be used. So check-in in counters is the explanation we have on check-in on counters, or they can use online check-in. So basically, that's what we have. We have got online check-in, and also we have check-in in counters. Then third was 4.3, describe the procedure to be followed by the tour when passing through the security control point before boarding their flight. So in terms of check-ins, we also have mobile check-in and also self-service check-in kiosks. So these are the parts. Then on 7.4.3 now, we are saying, describe the procedure to be followed. Question 4.7.4.3, describe the procedure to be followed by the tour group when passing through the security control point before boarding the flight. So you'd see that the procedure that is supposed to be followed, all hand luggage is screened by an X-ray screening machine. And then passenger may also be asked to place certain regulated items on a bin for screening. Then on the last part, passengers then pass through a metal detector to ensure that no weapons are concealed in their bodies. So basically, these are the procedures that needs to be followed. So with that, we move on to 7.4.4. When booking the flight for the tour group online, Ms. Stolle sees that there is also a fly safe flight on the same day. At least one advantage of making their booking with a fly SFA. So in terms of that 7.4.4 point A, we have our response is Fly SFA is a budget airline that provides flights at a lower cost. So basically, that's the point that we have in terms of 7.4.4A. On B, it requires you to explain the difference. So in terms of the difference, you'd see that on B, this is the difference that we have. So moving on to 7.5.1. So 7.5 is start the advertisement and answer the questions. So I given an advertisement that we just need to go through. And 7.5.1, identify 2 career opportunities that a person who is attended the above mentioned upliftment program could embark on. So with that, you'd see that the answer that we have is we have got hotel manager, chef, housekeeper, porter, waitron, concierge, bartender. So these are the responses that we have in terms of 7.5.5, 7.5.1. Then 7.5.2 list two skills that a person working in the hospitality industry requires to ensure that they are able to cope with the demands of the industry. So on 7.5.2, we have organizational skills, communication skills, computer skills, interpersonal skills, skills related to the specific job, e.g. calendar skills. So basically, this is the response that we have in terms of our question 7, and this becomes the end of our question 7. Question 8.1.1, a survey of domestic tourism has revealed that the majority of South Africans are not traveling in their own country. Lists two reasons in support of the above finding. So the question requires you to come up with the reasons for not traveling in South Africa. So we have the reasons as mentioned in the answer section 8.1.1, cannot afford to travel, no reasons to take a trip, no time to travel, and further points that we have that are also correct. Then we move on to the next question. It reads, analyze South African domestic tourism market segments below and answer the question. So you are given information A, B, C, and D. Then the question says, determine the domestic market segments labeled A, B, C, and D that have been identified by South African tourism to form part of the domestic tourism growth strategy of 2020 marketing campaign. So in terms of that, you see that we have A being well-to-do Mzansi families. We can just refer to our A. So this is our A, and we refer it to where well-to-do Mzansi families. We go to our B. We have our B on this part, and it is high life enthusiasts. And then we go to the next one, C. C is New Horizon families. We go to the next one, which is our D. And then D becomes spontaneous budget explorers. So that is what we have on that part. And then the next question, in the paragraph, explain three strategic objectives of the domestic tourism growth strategy 2020 to grow domestic tourism for a sustainable tourism economy. So 8.1.3, you'd see that these are the points that we have in terms of 8.1.3. So we go down and moving on to the next question, which is now our question 8.2. Start the map of the SADC member countries and answer the questions. So this is what we have. We are given letters A to F, and then the question reads, name the countries labeled A to A, C, and E. Of course, we've got A. And you would see that the country labeled A is Zambia. And C, can try to check where we have our C. So we have our C on this part. And this is Mauritius. And E, we have got Madagascar. So E here is Madagascar. And then 8.2.2, name the capital letters are labeled B and F. You can see that this is South Africa, and the capital city that we have for South Africa. We can try to see according to information that we have. Okay, we see that the country that is marked as B is not South Africa, but it's a country that is inside South Africa. So this country is Lesotho, and the capital city of Lesotho is Maseru. So we have Maseru at B, then F. We try to see what we have for F. So F is here. And you can see this is Angola, and the capital city is Luanda. So this is what we have. So I'll move on to the next one. Give the name of the major gateway that is used by persons from the country labeled D to enter South Africa. We know that this D is Zimbabwe. So as they enter South Africa, we've got a gateway that is here. And that is the Bait Bridge. So we have Bait Bridge here as our response for 8.2.3. So this is what we have for question 8. And obviously, we are only left with question 9. For question 9, start the images that portray aspects of customer care of foreign tourists and answer the questions. So we have got pictures that we have. The first question says, identify the nationality of the cultural group that A, bows when greeting. So we check according to the picture that we have of bowing when greeting is indicated on this picture. So this is the Japanese. The Japanese, and we go to the next one. Only consumes halal food. So we've got halal on the first part, and see that this is the Muslim. So we have those as in our answer section, as we have Japanese and Muslim. And we go to the next part. I discuss two benefits of South African tourism industry. If a tourism industry trains its employees to consider cultural, religious, and language differences when dealing with foreign tourists. So the response on 9.1.2 we have here. So we have got various points that we can include according pertaining to that 9.1.2. And move on to the next part, which is now. So on the next part, we are saying start the image and answer the questions. So we're given an image that we have, and then it reads, explain the value of the global distribution system listed for a travel agent. So in terms of our 9.2, the response that we have here is our response for 9.2. We move on to the next part. Which is going to be our 9.3, which reads, study the picture below and answer the question that follows. So given a picture that we have, and then the question reads, identify the type of complaint used by the customer in the above picture. So we can read in terms of where we have in the complaint. And in terms of identifying the complaint, I would see that it's a verbal, that is in person. Then we go to the next part. 9.3.2, the customer complaint was not dealt with effectively by the salesperson. Give two reasons to motivate this statement. So you need to find out why it was not dealt with it effectively according to information given. Then the response to that is 9.3.2. We have got the salesperson did not listen carefully to what the customer had to say, and other reasons that we can also include in terms of that. Then we move on to 9.3.3. Predict two impacts that the customer service offered by the salesperson could have on the souvenir shop. So what impacts? So in terms of 9.3.3, we also have the possible responses that we can put there as mentioned on this part. So our question paper is a total of 200 marks. And thank you for listening. Hopefully the video was helpful.